Could you hear me? Yeah.
You are all set, Patty.
Very good. Let her go. Good evening, everyone.
Could you hear me? Could you hear me?
Yes, Joe. Welcome to the Environmental Quality Commission regular meeting of September 10th, 2020. And we'll call the meeting to order. James, will you take the roll call, please?
Certainly.
It's 6:31.
It
Okay.
is. Commissioner Trombetta,
Here.
Commissioner Bonkel. Just press
He
down your
waved
space
yes.
bar. Commissioner Serio
Here. Here. Hello.
and Chairman Foley.
Yes.
You have a quorum.
Thank you, sir. Pleasure. I'd like to invite everybody to take a stand so we can say the Pledge of Allegiance. Here we go. I pledge
allegiance to the flag
of the
of
United
the United States of America and to the republic
for
which it
which
stands,
stands
one nation,
one nation
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty
liberty and justice for all.
Good job. Thank you. Okay. First little piece of business is the approval from our meeting on July 9th. And James is going to let that roll. Okay, folks, I hope you had a chance to take a look at this. Is there any corrections or comments or things that we need to put in here? I would entertain a motion for a approval of the minutes as submitted.
Second it.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from July 9th, 2020.
Good. Joyce is making the motion. Joe, did you second that?
Yeah.
Thank you. Good job. Rob, thank you for the minutes for doing them. They were very, very nice and very concise. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
Okay. James, do we have anybody in the webinar room?
We have no public attendees right now.
Not yet. You never know. Okay. Very good. Then we'll just start on some old business. And please interrupt as we kind of go along. If you remember something or know something or have a question, because it make it easier to put it all together. All right. Sustainable Connecticut. Yeah, a couple things here. There was an event, and I sent you updates during the month. There was a litter pickup organized by a citizen. I got in touch with her, and it was great. It was for 1 hour on a Sunday, and she had almost 20 people show up. So I had her put together the information in a little report. It's not very long. And that report now resides in the bucket at Sustainable Connecticut for Newington. So it qualifies for, I think it was 7.1, which is hold a sustainable event. So that got us into an event that we're holding. Remember, our year is going to run from July 1st through July 31st for a full year for next summer. So that one actually is a keeper. She's planning on actually doing it once a month. There's a Facebook account I believe I sent you the link. If you didn't have it, let me know. So you could sign up and watch out which goes on. And it's just perfect. People are quite excited. So that was yeah, a great little thing that went on for Sustainable Connecticut. Let's see. I spoke with Andrew today regarding some items, but he's going to be having a change. So I'm not sure what's going to be happening in that point. And the last one was, or not the last, but we had a Conservation Commission meeting, which is coming up next week with Kathleen Marie Clark. And she is doing a study on invasive plants in Newington, something that they've been working on but haven't had a chance to do. So I'm going to meet with them. Anybody who wants to come to their meeting, it's on at 7 p.m. on the 15th of September next week. And that's going to be a section of the Sustainable Connecticut Award at 2.10.1. So that was the email I sent out on September 4th with that update there. Let's see. And one of the things when I was going through some of my EQ stuff was that we're supposed to give a report every 3 months to the town council. Whoops. I forgot. And I remembered. So I showed up at the town council meeting last night. I will actually get NCTV to cut out the report and we'll put it up on our web page so that it will be there on our web page, our Facebook page. So people could actually re-listen to that without having to try to get to the specific spot in the on the town council video. It was also suggested by Councilor Nagel that we should be on the town council's agenda in December. So we may have actually, quote, a seat at the table and be on the regular agenda so that there a dialogue could be had. I thought that was a really great suggestion. But I at least wanted to get on the record that we didn't do it and we caught up. Let's see, and that's about all I have at this moment. I was hoping to have a little more information today. I was hoping to speak with the town manager before the meeting, but apparently he must have gotten waylaid, so didn't get to have our little discussion. So we'll talk about that coming up. And that's all I have. Anybody have any news on anything that they might have been working on for Sustainable Connecticut? Or Sustainable for Newington? Okay.
This is Karen.
Yes, Karen, please.
For me, I took a look at the equity toolkit, and Joyce, myself, and Patty had attended the Belonging, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion training in June. So a lot of that training is summarized in the equity toolkit. And it's really just a launching pad to help us get started to make sure that anything we do includes everyone and how to include everyone. Making sure that any changes we make, we consider the water, the air, the housing, you know, there's so many other factors. So making sure that people do have a seat at the table of varied members in our town, all different kinds of people, to make sure everyone has their voice heard. So I'd be happy to work with anyone else on that to really kind of make sure that we do reach out. That is required. That's 9.1, I believe it is, for the equity toolkit. And that is required for us to even submit anything. Is there anyone else from the town that has attended the training or will be attending any further trainings or plans to attend any further trainings? It was about 3 hours over 3 different weeks. So I believe it was 9 total hours approximately.
Correct. I have, that was on my list to chat with the town manager about as to how we could be reaching out to the department heads and or other people, because it's important. We can't do this. Now, Karen, did you look to any other towns to see what they did? Did you pull down any examples?
I did not. I will add that to my next agenda item. That's a good idea.
You know what? There's no reason to reinvent the wheel. If you don't know how to get around their website, but you go to where people have done the various items, and you just do a search to keep limiting, and then you can find out which item from the massive list people have done, and you can pull down tons of examples, which makes it really easy. So there's a couple that I pulled down just recently to take a look at. So I'm not going to go into them now because I haven't had a chance to really read some more. But that was in preparation to talking with the town manager. So how do we get this to start moving along? There's quite a bit of work that is being done currently by everyone, by the town departments. So how do we coordinate that? The last thing I did, which was in my report, which I will make a copy and also have it available on our Facebook page, there is is making sure that we get a landing page for the Sustainable Connecticut. So as we start completing things, we could do one of the things that was very important that was pointed out, not only in the equity, but in general in talking with people in the coffee hours that I went to, which was getting out the information as quickly as possible and keep reminding folks of what's available and how it works and the steps we've taken. And I guess it's kind of like bragging a little bit, but getting other people excited about the good news. So let's see what we can find equity wise. Maybe we could find, because you apply your equity to one of the other items. So let's find out what sounds good to us, and maybe we can go after it that way and make it easier. We'll have a plan to follow. Okay. All righty.
Patty,
Yes.
Patty, I have a list of suggestions we have to think about in regard to the upcycling contest, if we're going to go forward with that.
Oh, yes.
Do you want me to read what I have?
Yes, please contribute.
Okay, these are the things we have to consider if we're going to move forward with the upcycling contest. Number 1, the name of the contest. 2, who can enter. 3, the winners. What do they get? 4, how to define upcycling. 5, how to advertise the contest. 6, the start date and end date of the contest. 7, how would the contestants document their project? 8, can they purchase an item from a thrift shop and upcycle it? 9, can they enter something that have previously upcycled? 10, photo documentation must be a minimum of 3 photos, a maximum of 6. 11, can a person or company submit more than one project? 12, who will be the judges? 13, what will be the judging criteria? 14, what will the submission entry form be like? 15, can the entry form and photos be submitted online? 16, how to announce the winners? 17, should all the participants receive a thank you certificate from the mayor? 18, are furniture items the only things that can constitute a project? 19, we could use this link below to show upcycling projects. And I have the link. So those are the things we've got to start thinking about and considering if we're going to have an upcycling contest.
Excellent.
It's a lot. There's a
Joyce,
lot.
that was, well, not really, but you broke it down to nice pieces, which makes it easier, because I think when you answer 2 or 3 of these, some of the other answers will be easier. So I think a great job. Would you be able to, I see you were reading it, so is it in some form that you could send out to the committee members and we can all be able to
Oh, yeah.
begin to let it percolate?
Oh, yes, yep.
I think
Yeah.
that would be wonderful. Thank you so much. All righty. Anything else about sustainable Connecticut right now? Okay, because we'll go on. We can always go back if you think of something. Don't worry. Facebook, keep Newington litter free. I've been continuing to post a few more posts, typical such as how much garbage, and that's the 1 pound garbage challenge. I've been finding some things through Recycle Connecticut, through things that are very specific to Connecticut that we can do. I haven't had a chance to write up anything. I look for anyone to help me on that. Whatever is posted, you need to go and hit the like button, share it to other places, because we'll start posting now more about sustainable Connecticut and about what we're accomplishing. So it creates the buzz, and it's a good thing. Well, I kind of mentioned it already, the 1 pound a week. In actually the challenge of the 1 pound a week, I attended. It has a really long name, and it's not handy, which is the Connecticut Coalition of something materials management, which big long word to talk about garbage in Connecticut. We are in a crisis mode. It was a seminar earlier this week for about 2 hours, and it included, it's primarily all towns and cities are in this thing. I was the lone public person talking, but they are meeting together to be a task force to talk about what we're going to do in a place where we have a crisis. One being the mirror station is not really up and running as well as it could be. It's got a lot of things. Our infrastructure in our trash energy plants are nearing their end of their life cycles, and where our garbage has to go, because right now we're already shipping garbage out of Connecticut. So there was quite a few points and talks about. I hope to get the PowerPoint deck. They had some very interesting statistics to learn about, which apply to us, because this is all about Connecticut. We're not looking at landfills in East Jabru or someplace. So that was very good. So I just wanted to everybody let you know there's going to be some information coming from that. They're going to be having one of the areas which I was kind of interested in is, and it's one of the biggest areas mentioned by the majority of the towns, food waste. In Connecticut, we residents, not stores, not retail, not restaurants, not anything, residential customers on average waste up to 25% of their food. So therefore, if you bought 4 bags of groceries, you just leave 1 bag behind, because that's how much. And now it won't be your house. And like, again, averages always make for interesting discussions, but that number has been holding true. And of course, there's a long litany of discussion. And I have found some videos, and I want to find out if we can show them. If we can, we could actually have maybe show a video and do a discussion, and that could be a way of, again, educating the public and working in the area. It's in the area where there's garbage. I think it's 7.5 or so, somewhere in that range in the list. Anyway, FYI. And then D was there just to keep that up in front of everybody's face, which is the submission date for Newington Sustainable is August 2021. I just want that to be on our agenda, not so much as something to talk about, but that's the date we're looking to submit to. All righty. Anything else on some of this? Any other old business that I may have forgotten to put on?
Just a comment about what you were just talking about.
Yes, Joyce.
Wasn't there any discussion about composting at that meeting?
Yes, that was kind of a little bit farther down on the list. Composting was they were looking at doing some points of view of businesses to set up biodigesters. So you would collect, and there is one in Hartford that does composting. It's called Blue Earth. I talked with them briefly a couple months ago. So they pick up the food waste and they compost it and return back to you compost, which you can put in your garden, on your lawn, or whatever you want to do. But there are 4 permits so far been approved for biodigesters. There's only one online, and I believe, Rob, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's Southington that the biodigester is up and running. So
You are correct, Patty.
it is. Okay, oh, I remembered something. Woohoo! So anyway, there's a lot of stuff there. But they didn't go a lot into that. They were really trying to stay on a little bit of higher level. And that's why I want to get the slides, because it has a lot more information and you could all take a moment to digest some of that. But they're looking, the purpose of this is a task force, not a committee, but a task force to, what do you call it? To work on some innovative ideas to either be able to allow or have available to third parties, or to do some of this work, outsiders, not the municipality per se, not the state per se, but maybe a third party come in and do something. They're looking for a general gist of, oh, and it almost sounded like Sustainable Connecticut, because they want a whole group of citizens to help out in coming up with what could be legislation that we'd be looking for when they go into session in January. That would be, like they did the bag tax. You're going to pay 10 cents for a bag. Now, if you want a plastic bag in a retail store, that type of thing. One of the things they had talked about was also whether or not we should keep glass in the combined trash, or should the glass be pulled out separately, because glass, when it's clean and it's separated, is worth a lot more than what they call MRF glass, which is dirty. And not just because the glass was dirty, but because it was oftentimes wet. It gets mixed in with paper. There's scraps and so forth. And they had some really good pictures to help explain this. So it was so enlightening. I never knew I wanted to know this much about garbage. So it was very, very good. But yes, I want to get that information to all of you. They didn't have the slides yet available for me to pass around.
Karen has a statement.
Thank you. Thank you. I wanted to just say thank you for attending that, and thank you for sharing that with us. It sounds like you said, almost parallel kind of events that we're working on. So definitely a partnership, and learning from each other, I think, will help us both move forward towards our goals. And I like the idea of separating out the glass. I remember when recycling first started, and I do not understand the combined process, but that's for another discussion. The Blue Earth, I got a quote from them recently as a personal benefit, because I am contributing to the trash, even though I live in a condo. I'm definitely using more trash. I'm home all the time now. So I will share that quote with all of you so that you can see the quote. It is a charge that I believe it's $17 a month.
Yes, like that.
But I'll share the information with all of you as well. I did have one question before we move on about the openings. Is that something to talk about now or later?
When you say opening
on our commission.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Oh, openings in our commission.
Oh, well, it comes down that it's later in the new business.
Okay, great.
Excellent. Okay. Anything else that we've worked on or you want to discuss at this point? Anybody? Okay. New business, communications. And that's what we kind of discussed a little bit about. Recycling is at the end of the R's. It's the last thing to do. if we can help educate, not tell people what to do, but to show them how the infamous how we adjusted to reducing what we use. You know, I have somebody who laughed at me in town. She goes, "Oh yeah, just let Patty out there. She'll show you how not to use paper towels." Well, I don't. It takes 6 months for me to use one roll because I use cloth. And I have to do laundry anyway, so a few extra dish towels that I use for napkins or whatever, and means I don't spend it on that. And I really don't spend any more because the washer isn't any bigger and the laundry soap is not more. And anyway, that's what I do. So reducing, reusing, and I think that's where our upcycling, Joyce, will be a great way to get some information of how can we start to reuse something and be smarter. It always reminds me of those YouTube videos about how somebody did a bunch of craft stuff with garbage. It's tremendous. And then, of course, recycling. I put it here because one of our community we talked about was how we get the news out, and that is hopefully, Rob, can you help us with how do we go about using the town alerts or whatever those things are called that you remember you had the list we did about what you put out last year. How does that work? Can you explain the process for us?
Those are news flashes. So
News
what I do,
flash.
yes, yep. And the only way that residents can receive them is if they've signed up on the town website to receive those news flashes. We can put up hundreds of them, but if nobody has signed up for it, it's only going to go to those who reached out to be signed up.
Okay, and do I remember that there was about 90 people, give or take?
Roughly, yeah. Off the top of my head, it was definitely less than 100. Yes.
Okay, all right. But so that's really two things. But explain how do you go about making sure that we have more news flashes? We'll get people to sign up because we're going to have a lot of areas where we can make sure that we're showing them how to do that.
Anytime the DEP comes out with anything new, like when they came out with Recycle CT, they came out with the app. I put out a news flash, I think twice for that to notify them. And anytime I find something new or something I think might be of interest, I just put a little blurb out there with a couple sentences and some links to the DEP website to educate people.
Okay, and if the committee has a bunch of them, can we send them to you?
Yeah, if you have some interesting things or some facts or some sites that might be of interest to learn how to recycle better or reduce and reuse, I'd be more than happy to post them.
Okay, so I mean, you don't have like some kind of like limit. You're only allowed to do so many.
No, there's no limit, but obviously you don't want to inundate people with so many that they're just going to be inundated with them that you're just going to kind of scroll through them and not even pay attention.
Right, throwing up on anything is not a good idea. Well, that's what they call it when somebody will post like 7 posts all at the same time. And it's like, no, you got to spread them out. Spread them out over some time. And then folks will get accustomed to look for that information that we are posting. All right. So there is no limitation. Okay. Except the fact that we only have less than 100 people that will receive that. Okay.
You are correct.
Patty,
Go, Joyce.
that brings up another point. Several months ago, you had asked me to write a press release, which I wrote and submitted to you. So
Whoops.
maybe the time has come to release that.
Would you resend that to me?
Okay, I mean, a lot of this stuff is
it just-
over now.
I'm apologizing
Yeah.
because I went through all my email getting ready over the weekend for this meeting, and I either put it somewhere or I deleted it, and I didn't mean to do either. Could you
Yeah,
just,
I can send it again.
super, that would be fabulous. Okay, and then, yeah, we can see if we can start getting some press in various areas. That would be super. Thank you. I just apologize. I don't know what I did. Oh, well. But that's all right. It's now the fall. Maybe we'll get better traction. It'll be more interesting than watching some of the political landscape that's going to be going on for the next 2 months. All righty. Yes, now we're down to, I want to go on record and thank Mark Sims, who resigned. Unfortunately, the town council agreed to accept his resignation. I was hoping they'd say no, but he has a lot on his plate at this moment, and actually resigned from both commissions that he was sitting on. And but he contacted me later and said, Patty, if you really need something, call him. So I mean, he's willing to help out, but he just didn't feel it was appropriate to be honest, to hold the seat that he couldn't actually contribute. So I appreciate that on both sides. So I'll miss him, but we will work, especially since he was an industry seat, which was really important. So we're going to have, I put a call to, in an email out to Chris Miner with all of you, because he should know people. He's in the property and management and so forth, and he may know somebody who would be there. So I'm hoping he's going to get back to us with maybe someone who might be interested in assisting who's in the industry area. That would be helpful. Karen, you mentioned something, so why don't you go?
Yes, could you describe a little bit about what industry actually means? Like what area, so I could better assist?
Yeah, I got to step away for a second. Just hang on. Yes, we have paperwork, and give me 1 second, and I think I have it handy. Industry. Here we go. Are you ready? I'm going to read this. This is out of Article 6, which established the EQC. Industry organizations and businesses with hazardous chemicals above certain quantities, which are required by the United States Environmental Protection Agency to submit emergency and hazardous chemical inventory forms annually to local fire departments, emergency planning committees, state emergency planning committees, and those agencies for and respond to chemical emergencies. So it's somebody who's in that hazardous chemical area. I'm not sure we have many people here, but we do have some people who work with manufacturing that may have these types of chemicals and so forth that we'd have to talk about. So, but that's really what it's about. Someone who is involved in automobiles or gas stations, that's a hazardous material. It's quite flammable. There's oils and all that other stuff. So I don't know if we can get something. Rob, who's the now? Do we have a new acting chief or a chief or an acting chief for the fire department?
We have an acting chief. It is Tom LaPierre.
Oh, it's Tom. Oh, okay, cool. All right. Because maybe I could send him. Could you get me his email address?
Yeah, I can send it to you.
Okay, good. Because then I can write to him. Tom and I go back like 100 years. And I'll send him a note, and maybe not 100, but we were both children, but he and I worked together on several boards, and I'll see if he has any suggestions. Now that I reread this, maybe the fire department knows of some of these, and that would be a way to search out someone in that area. But does that answer your question, Joy?
Yes, that was very helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you want me to send the link to this?
That might be helpful to have it on record for everyone and as a visual reminder. I think always helps me too. Thank you.
Okay, okay. But hold on, send link. Industry. Okay, I will send that out. Very good, thank you. So a public seat and or 2 industry seats, and that would round out our commission. All righty, anything else that we have new business-wise that people would like to share? Okay, let's see. Public participation, did anybody show up?
Nobody showed up.
Okay, no, we haven't had a lot of meetings yet. We have to we'll work on that. We'll work on that. Excellent. All right, so we're down to towards the end of our agenda. So we have commissioner comments. Since there's, I already talked enough. So Joyce and Karen and Joe, comments please on.
I think, if we get a press release out, we can inform the town people what we're doing, what we're about, and possible upcoming events.
Excellent, excellent. Well, when we'll have that, you'll send me the copy again, and we'll work on that together and be done with it. Thank you. Anything, Karen?
I just wanted to say thank you again, and thank you specifically to Rob for helping us out, and especially with your knowledge and sharing all that information on the page. I look forward to continuing to learn from the knowledge you share. Thanks.
Excellent. Joe? Where'd Joe go? Joe, you might be still muted.
Hold down your space bar.
Could you hear me now?
There you go. Go ahead, Joe.
No, I think we're doing well considering the situation. I think we're doing well, and we're doing the best we could to keep an agenda and get the word out there.
Thank you. Okay. Gail, I know you're there. And you've been
Yeah, no, I just had to unmute myself.
That's
No,
okay.
it's going to take a while because, when you look at the membership of the commission, there's very few of the originals there. So and because of COVID, you haven't been able to really get an awful lot of activities going or a buzz generated. So it's going to take a while to get moving, but you have a plan, and you certainly have, I think the Sustainability Connecticut is going to be, quite an ambitious goal. I was just wondering, I'm trying to envision what some of the steps were, but with the publication or with the acceptance of the POCD, aren't there some chapters in there that contribute towards some of the requirements for Sustainability Connecticut, like having an open space plan and something else? I think there are articles in the POCD that you might want to look at that you can add to your checklist for sustainability.
Absolutely. The POCD is chock full of wonderful, and all of you, I think I linked it to everybody in an email when it got passed, because it's a big document. It's the document that guides Newington for the next 10 years, which is extremely important to have such a guiding force of looking at where we're going. There's a newer committee that was formed called the Newington Housing something, which is talking about, I'm trying to find their name. It's not far from here because
Newington Housing Needs Study Committee, Patty.
Right. Thank you. Newington Housing Needs Study, which is one of the items that is within there. Open space, extremely important. And Gail, I'd like to congratulate the suggestion made at the town council meeting about taking the money from Barber Road and putting it towards to acquiring more open space. Really, if you could have seen me sitting back here, I was doing the happy dance. I thought that was just a brilliant suggestion, and it really allows for the town to set aside a few dollars for, what do you call it? For, purchasing possibly. We are really congested town. We're very built out, and unless we buy some other town out,
Right.
that's what they do in the Midwest. They just buy out towns. So, yeah, unless that doesn't not going to happen. I'm joking. I'm sorry. But I thought that was extremely well done, and it was kind of this oddball thing. It's found money, and it would be nice to bolster that. So thank you for being so diligent.
Yeah, we have to keep our eyes open and our ears open.
Absolutely. But thank you so much. But yes, going back to your other note, but the POCD has a lot of stuff in it. There are committees who are doing items, and part of it is attempting, but it's really hard because I'm trying to get to all the chair people of all the committees and or commissions. Some of them are obvious, but the smaller ones, unless I can find somebody that I know, I have a hard time getting in touch with them. And one of the things I thought we would do, and I'm not sure how it fits yet, but it would be in the educating of our town, is interviewing each chairperson or whatever their title is of each commission and or committee, of what they do, what has been some of the challenges that they had met in the past, and what are they currently working on, and do they have any vacancies? Because we're always looking for good volunteers. And I passed the idea by the town manager, and he was actually quite pleased in the idea. So right now, I'm trying to figure out how to get in touch with everybody because I don't have their emails to do that. And it would be a virtual meeting like this with just two people, and it will be all of, if it's 10 to 15 minutes, that's all it will be. Just a real simple, easy chat about, somebody might not actually know why a particular committee or what they do is about. And that would actually give us an opportunity to capture that information. And it could be very interesting and a way to let other folks know what goes on in town. And maybe hopefully you go, oh, gee, thanks. Wow. I'm interested in that. And like Karen says, well, what does industry mean? Good question. If I was looking at the Environmental Quality Commission, I wouldn't know what they do. So the more I sat and looked at our commission and said, well, but somebody who's not really knowing, they wouldn't know what we do. So how can we get the word out and also get points? I'm all about getting the points. I feel like I'm at Weight Watchers. But okay. But Gail, thank you so much. Anything else that you could think of that you could pass along to us?
No, well, the only thing, when you were talking about the industry, you have two industry representatives. I do recall from a long time ago when the Environmental Quality Commission was set up, it was definitely in response to some environmental hazards. There were underground oil tanks in town. The fire department had to be involved and whatever. It seemed to be a different focus. And I'm just wondering whether you might want to.
You're thinking like
whether those membership needs are still, those requirements for membership are still valid, given maybe the new marching orders or the new commission as it stands now. You might want to take a look at that.
Thank you. It was something I thought of. Is it that? I didn't know the history, and I mean, you go back there, it's spotty in understanding why that. But if it was back in the day when there's underground tanks, and I think in Newington, at least I know the municipality may have only one or two that are still left that were slated to come out from the Board of Education. I think they were supposed to come out this year, if I remember, and I could be wrong, but it may be less an issue and allow us to actually then invite other public members to be here.
Because that's a pretty limited, even when you think of industry, you know, because sometimes you can think of industry as being, you know, commercial, but this is really kind of specific to dealing with hazardous waste. And I'm just not certain the charge of the commission anymore meets what it was originally set up to do. So I'll try and get you some information on that. I'll look at some background notes and get to you, Patty.
Oh, that would be really good, because if it's maybe we just have one instead of two.
Right.
And that way we make a request of the town council to make an amendment, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that would work, but we'll figure it out.
We'll figure that out. That's true. All right. Rob, you're up. You get to close the show.
Lucky me. I just wanted to, two things. One, we had our hazardous waste collection back on August 15th. Well, not ours, the MDC's hazardous waste collection was held here on the 15th, and it was well received. We traditionally have anywhere between 450 cars that come. We had well over 500, possibly close to 600. I still haven't gotten all the data from the MDC yet. But once I do, I can share that with you guys just to give you an understanding of what they take and how much they actually bring in from not only from the town of Newington, but all the MDC member towns. So once I get that, I can share it with you guys and kind of get a feel for what is actually taken you know, out of the waste stream and out of the waters and streams in Newington, where people used to dump their oil down the catch basins and the streams and stuff like that. So it's a great event that they hold, and I'm glad that they were able to work out the logistics and be able to have it this year, because the residents of Newington especially, it's well received amongst them. So I just wanted to fill you in on that. And then Joyce, if you want to send me the points that you had on the upcycling contest, I can just put them into the minutes, so this way we can have them for future reference.
Well, so actually, I'm going to send that paper, that document out to everybody, so you'll get it.
Yeah, but Rob, that would be great if you would include it either as a reference and add it to the back, as opposed to right in the center. So the minutes will stay there, and it will be part of the package. So whichever way that you think it looks good.
Okay, I can do that.
Yeah, that would be super. Excellent. Yeah, that way then we won't lose a handout like that. It won't get lost in God knows email. Anyway, let's see. We're doing good. Any other comments, questions, and so forth? I think we covered everything. I'm just double checking a couple things here. Let's see. We talked about that. I sent you some links on some articles when I come across them. I get, I have a Google alert that I get every day on garbage. I know, I need a life. But it, hey, well, you know what's very interesting though, is when you get to read about what another community does, whether it be the municipality itself, the citizens, some legislation that is being done other places. I find that to be, so I don't end up getting a myopic view of just Newington and seeing that. I'll have information hopefully next week after, if anybody would like to attend the Conservation Commission meeting, it will be at 7 o'clock. Gail, do you go to that meeting?
Yeah, I'm the liaison as well.
Oh, excellent. Okay, that would be very interesting. Okay. So there was a quote I gave a while ago, which I was reading in one of the deep press releases. And it says, in spite of this progress, and they were talking about generally recycling and garbage and so forth, or it's municipal solid waste, which is the fancy name for garbage. It says, in spite of this progress, Connecticut's waste sector was once again at a critical point. In 2016, so some 4 years ago, approximately 100,000 tons per year were being sent out of state for disposal. You say, okay, well, 2 years later, in 2018, that tonnage quadrupled to 400,000 tons that are being trucked out. And in the slides that they've had this past week at this thing, we were cresting over 500,000 tons that is being shipped out of Connecticut, because obviously we don't have landfills, and guess we're not burning as much that's going on. But anyway, we shall see. And if I get more information from the CCSMM, that's what it's called, the Connecticut Coalition of Solid Waste Management. Not waste, materials management. Rob, is there a reason why we weren't registered yet for this?
I wasn't aware of it until you sent it to me, Patty. I never got any updates from DEP, and I never noticed it. So I'm actually on the webpage right now during the meeting, and I'm going through the slides from that meeting that you attended.
Oh, good. The slides have been put up. Excellent. All right, then that would be super. If you would send everybody a link, that would be helpful. Then I don't have to hunt it down. But yeah, can we Newington? It's by municipalities, for municipalities. The people who sit on the board are Commissioner Katie. I forget her last name right now.
Dykes.
Yes,
Dykes.
Katie. Oh, she is a wonderful person, unbelievably knowledgeable. And then there was 3 first selectmen, mayors or first selectmen, whatever you call them, that are also serving. And a bunch of the towns had signed up, and we weren't there. So I was like, oh, okay. I honestly, I can't remember how I ran across this. I don't know if it was a press release and it said you could sign up. So I did. And I said, well, the worst can be is that I don't go, or the best will be that I do go. And it was very interesting. We'll have a lot of information coming out of that may give us here in Newington some insights of what to do. And that's all I have for today. So I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Thank you, Joyce. Do I have a second?
I will second, and I just want to confirm as we close when the next meeting will be.
Yes, the next meeting will be, I got to get my calendar. Hang on.
I believe it's October 8th.
I think so. I'm going to double check because James is like really good at this stuff. It is the second Thursday of the month, and that will be October 8th. Thank you, James. I should make sure I write that down on the agenda. That will be my next improvement. Next meeting will be October 8th, and it will be at 6:30. Is that still a good time for everyone? Yeah, shaking head. Okay, cool. 10-2020. Thank you. Well, I want to say thank you very much, James. Thank you again for running the slides. It allows me to concentrate on actually doing the meeting part. We really appreciate that. And when will I see when will you have it put up on YouTube so I can grab a copy?
Video's already up on YouTube. It's live streaming as you speak.
Oh, okay.
So it's available there.
Okay.
You just need to finish off your vote for adjournment.
And we have anything more we want to say? We all agree to adjourn? And yay?
Yeah.
Yay? Okay. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. And keep an eye out. I'm going to continue to try to send out the monthly stuff. And then you'll watch. Bye. Thank you.
Yep.
Hi, everyone.
Good night,
Take
everyone.
care.
Good night.
Good night.
Bottom right.